Good to have you with us. We're just 2 days out from a special event here in Lynchburg, a town hall on the opioid crisis that includes First Lady Melania Trump. ABC 13 is bringing you team coverage leading up to the event. Tonight, Whitney Burney, Danner Evans, and Hannah McCumsey have more. Let's get to Whitney first, live from Liberty University.
Mark, President Falwell says that the opioid issue is one that he's proud to say that Liberty University has largely been able to avoid. He says that having the town hall is just another way that they can be proactive in the fight against drug addiction. Now, the CDC does say that more than 100 people are dying of drug overdoses every single day. Now, this is the first time that Melania Trump will be speaking here at Liberty University. First Lady Melania Trump, former Fox News commentator Eric Bolling, and Demi Lovato's mother, Diana Hart, will be a part of the discussion on Wednesday during Liberty's convocation. Mrs. Trump is expected to arrive sometime Wednesday morning. Spreading awareness about opioid addiction has been a part of her platform as First Lady. President Falwell says it's time to pay attention to this issue. He says he believes Liberty's anti-party culture was a huge part of the reason they've been successful in keeping students away from drugs.
Well, we just want to show others what measures we took and hope that they emulate what we did to stop the problem in other places.
The university canceled all morning classes to get students through the Secret Service security checkpoints. Students will begin filing into the Vine Center around 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Tonight at 6, I did get a chance to speak to some of the students here on this campus. They told me how they're feeling about the First Lady coming to campus. Live in Lynchburg, Whitney Burney, ABC 13 News.
Another look at the panel who will be here on Wednesday: the First Lady, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and Demi Lovato's mother. And former Fox News commentator Eric Bolling will moderate that town hall. His son died last year of an accidental drug overdose. The cocktail included opioids. Today, I got to talk to him about taking part in this town hall. Ever since his son's death, Bolling has been trying to talk to young people and their parents about this national public health emergency. And he has a clear message that he wants you to take away from the town hall Wednesday at Liberty University.
I think what's going to end up happening, from my experience and Demi Lovato's mother's experience, and again, Demi may show up not to be on stage, but certainly to support her mom. They're very close, and she's going through the recovery process as we speak. I think what's going to jump through the screen is you have people who aren't just talking about it, who are living it.
Bolling hopes that you will sit down and watch this town hall with your children, your family, and open up a line of discussion.
Help could be on the way for women struggling with addiction on the South Side. Hope Center Ministries in Axton has a treatment program helping men who are struggling with drugs and alcohol. As ABC 13's Hannah McCumsey found out, there could be a similar facility for women in Pittsylvania County.
Some of the men in the recovery program at Hope Center Ministries say their lives were on the wrong path.
I've come close to dying.
But since coming to the Hope Center for treatment, their lives have been changed for the better.
It's a good program. I mean, you want to turn your life around, change, and make better decisions.
We believe if we can help a man change his life, then we have the opportunity for a family to change. And as families change, communities change.
Now, Executive Director Gary Robertson is proposing a women's recovery center in Pittsylvania County. If permits get approved, a 10-bed women's recovery center would be a reality. Robertson says there are many women trying to get clean on the South Side. They just need a little help.
Ladies right now that are sitting in jail that are saying, I don't want to get out until that women's center's open.
The men here encourage anyone, man or woman, battling addiction to join a program like this and get the help they need.
If you have the opportunity to take this program, I'd say take it and run with it, because no bad can come out of this, regardless.
Reporting in Axton, Hannah McCumsey, ABC 13 News.
Robertson says the timeline for the project depends on the permit process. He believes this proposed women's center can help change lives damaged by addiction, one person at a time.
You can watch this opioid town hall on ABC 13. Our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group, is exclusively broadcasting this town hall. You can watch it right here on ABC 13, Wednesday night at 7. Liberty University is getting ready to put the opioid crisis center stage. In just 2 days, they're going to be holding a town hall with some big names, including First Lady Melania Trump.
ABC 13 has team coverage leading up to that event. Whitney Burney and Courtney Joden are both with us. But let's begin with Whitney. Whitney, you spoke with Jerry Falwell about why they felt this was an important conversation to have at LU.
The First Lady is expected to land in Lynchburg sometime when the opioid epidemic has been a part of her platform. The president tells me it's time that the university speaks about this issue and sheds light on it. In just a couple of days, First Lady Melania Trump will be speaking at Liberty University for the first time.
I've seen mixed reactions about specifically Melania Trump coming.
She'll be joined by former Fox News commentator Eric Bolling, who lost a son to opioids, Demi Lovato's mother Diana Hart, and several others.
I think it's awesome when any guest who's associated with government positions or anyone who is representing a big platform comes and speaks.
University President Jerry Falwell says they've been preparing for weeks.
Anytime the First Lady comes to any university, it's a big deal.
The discussion will surround the opioid epidemic, something that kills more than 100 people daily in the United States.
It's not just among certain income or age demographics anymore, but it's far-reaching. I think we need to talk about that. I'm from West Virginia, and so it's a big issue that we're dealing with in our state, and so I think it's very important that they come and speak about it.
President Falwell says Liberty has largely avoided the problem, and he's hoping this discussion will help continue that streak.
Liberty's just is just so unique. We just want to show others what measures we took and hope that they emulate what we did to stop the problem in other places.
He says he hopes students will walk away knowing their lives are more important than the temporary highs of drug use.
I'd rather see them spend their lives doing something positive and helping others and building a life for themselves and their families.
Now, classes for students are canceled Wednesday morning. They'll begin filling up the Vine Center for that discussion around 7 to go through Secret Service security checkpoints.
Now, there will be several panelists, as we told you, at that town hall at LU. This is a look at all of them. First Lady Melania Trump, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and Demi Lovato's mother. And former Fox News commentator Eric Bolling will moderate the town hall. He spent the last year talking to anyone who will listen about the opioid epidemic. His son died last year at just 19 years old from an accidental overdose of opioids. He spent the last year talking to anyone who will listen about the opioid epidemic and what it's done to his family. Demi Lovato's mother is also trying to talk about her daughter's addiction that she's currently working to overcome. Now, I spoke with Eric Bolling today about how important it is for the opioid crisis to take center stage at LU this week.
That's what matters the most, is for a parent to have that discussion with your kid. You're going to see two parents coming at it from two different directions. One lost their child, one almost did. You can see the devastation in a family, the way it rips families apart.
Bolling hopes you will sit down and watch this town hall with your own children.
The opioid epidemic has spread to every corner of America, but there are services in our area that are working together to help. ABC 13's Courtney Joden spoke with specialists at Horizon in Lynchburg. She joins us live there tonight. Courtney.
Mark, Horizon employees have been working to identify the needs in the communities that they serve surrounding this opioid epidemic. Now, over the past year, they've worked with 3 coalitions to develop Central Virginia addiction and recovery resources. Prevention and Wellness Services Program Manager Joanna Davis says this is an umbrella group that's working together to bring the most good to the community they serve. Now, Horizon says the group is positioned to be a lead resource for advancing community conditions, norms, systems, and policies for substance abuse, prevention, treatment, and recovery. Davis says Horizon is also working on getting drug-free community grant.
We're working really hard and diligently on trying to create an application that will be submitted in March, and if we get this funding, it will bring in $1.2 million over the course of 10 years to our community.
The grant will help continue the work on the fight to not only the opioid epidemic addiction, but substance use addiction across the community, mostly with young people. Now, if you do know of a family member that is struggling with opioid addiction or substance abuse, Horizon would like you to call them. They have an emergency hotline, and that number is on the bottom of our screen, 434-522-8191. If it is not there, it is again 434-522-8191. Live here in Lynchburg tonight, Courtney Doden, ABC 13 News.
We begin tonight with an effort to shine a spotlight on an American health crisis, opioid abuse. First Lady Melania Trump will be at Liberty University Wednesday for a town hall on the issue.
ABC 13's Valencia Jones shows us how the topic hits home for political commentator Eric Bolling and others taking part in this major health discussion.
First Lady Melania Trump will take the stage Wednesday at Liberty University for a town hall on the opioid epidemic. She'll have an intimate discussion with political commentator and author Eric Bolling. Bolling knows all too well about the crisis.
My family's been more than affected. My family's been destroyed, been ripped apart. Eric Chase was our only child.
Bolling described how his only son, Eric Chase, was a sophomore at the University of Colorado last year when he overdosed on cocaine and fentanyl. He wants to raise awareness for other families.
What I've done since Eric's passing is kind of let people realize that one pill can kill. Young people need to understand if you take a pill, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what it has in it.
Anytime the First Lady comes to any university, it's a big deal.
LU President Jerry Falwell says his wife played a role in Mrs. Trump's decision to speak on campus.
One of the reasons Liberty was chosen is because we've been proactive and because we've avoided the problem here so far.
They hope the message will hit home for everyone who hears it.
And we just want to protect our students from something that they may not realize is so dangerous until it's too late. It's an exciting event for us, and it's and something students I think will never forget.
Bolling said he also hopes this will pressure lawmakers to create more funding to tackle the opioid epidemic. Live in the Lynchburg studio, Valencia Jones, ABC 13 News.
More on this issue now. A man from Afton spoke with us last year about his pill bottle invention, an invention to help curb opioid abuse. Joseph Bruce Hamilton says a computer program releases one pill at a time and can alert authorities if the seal is broken. Hamilton says he has one full utility patent and two are pending. He says it will cost about $200,000 to get the technical parts needed. Hamilton says he didn't invent it in time to save his girlfriend. He says she abused prescription drugs but hopes it will save others.
If the president's listening or Chris Christie or them that are over the opioid abuse, instead of spending some of the money behind the problem, let's put some in front of the problem.
Hamilton says he started his roofing company back up to help fund the pill bottle. He says two potential investors are looking at it, and he hopes others will take an interest. The First Lady of the United States, two cabinet secretaries and others will be in Lynchburg in less than 24 hours. All week we've been getting you ready for tomorrow's town hall on the opioid crisis.
And we have team coverage now at 5 with Kelsey Metzger and Christine Frizzell. Let's go first to Kelsey, who's live in our newsroom tonight.
Eric Bolling, tomorrow's moderator, is already in town. He spent the day on Liberty's campus asking students what they would ask the First Lady if given the opportunity. Tomorrow is a difficult conversation about the opioid epidemic that is affecting people across the country. But today was a more lighthearted talk. Bolling told me that he wants students to be excited to hear Mrs. Trump speak tomorrow and that it will be a first as she has not taken questions and participated in a town hall like this. He says it's an open conversation that needs to happen.
We love our young people, and to stand by and do nothing and watch this drug devastate our young people would be negligent. So I think what we're doing, what the First Lady is doing, what I'm trying to do is really stop it. We need to put a stop to it because people don't deserve this type of fate in America.
Just last year, Bolling's son died from an accidental overdose, something he never thought would happen. Hear how he hopes this conversation happening here in Lynchburg helps to save lives. That's tonight at 6. Live in the Lynchburg newsroom, Kelsey Metzger, ABC 13 News.
Do you think Congress is doing enough to stop the opioid crisis? That's today's question of the day. Go to WSET.com and let us know what you think.
It is a crisis that affects so many people in America, and First Lady Melania Trump will be among several special guests right here in Lynchburg tomorrow for an opioid town hall.
ABC 13 has team coverage leading up to tomorrow's event with Chris Hoffman and Courtney Joden.
Liberty University is getting set for tomorrow's town hall. The event at the Vine Center is open to the public. It starts at 10:30. But you're going to want to allow for some extra time to get through security. Besides the First Lady, other guests include commentator Eric Bowling, Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen, and Secretary of Health and Human Services Alex Azar. CDC says the opioid epidemic is taking 115 Americans' lives every single day.
Yeah, and a Lynchburg doctor says that is higher than the number of people who will die in a car crash in a day. ABC 13's Chris Hoffman joins us now live with details about the epidemic and the disease of addiction.
According to Centra's Director of Addiction and Recovery Services, Dr. Brent McCraw, it started with health professionals looking to manage pain better. Now that led to more prescriptions, and then heroin became more of a problem because people found ways to take it outside of needle injection. Dr. McCraw says opioids are so addictive because they make people feel good, which draws them back for more. His message is to not be afraid to get help if you want out of the cycle of addiction.
Hey, you don't have to continue to live like this. Treatment is available, and treatment really is successful, and people recover and sort of regain their lives back.
As a result of this epidemic, doctors are prescribing smaller amounts at a time to prevent pills just sitting around, and unless it's necessary, they're trying alternatives for pain management. Now, health professionals are also monitoring prescriptions for these drugs so people just don't go from doctor to get them. Live in the Lynchburg newsroom, Chris Hoffman, ABC 13 News.
Meanwhile, Horizon Behavioral Health, the largest behavioral health agency in Central Virginia, is on the front lines battling the epidemic. ABC 13's Courtney Joden joins us live at one of their Lynchburg offices to tell us what they're doing to cut back on addiction. Courtney.
Dana, Horizon's main program they have here to help people deal with their opioid addiction, it helps them curb that addiction. Now, it's called their office-based opioid treatment program, which uses Suboxone. It's a drug that curbs and deters the use of opioids. Jen Phelps is a nurse with Horizon and a case manager in the program. She says people addicted to opioids usually come to them after they have either been incarcerated, overdosed, or hit rock bottom. That's when they start them on Suboxone, when they are in withdrawal.
We do an induction process, which they're in withdrawal. They come in to meet with the nurse. They get an assessment done. They start treatment. They see the doctor. They come in once a week. We link them with case management services.
Phelps says people are seen weekly and linked with groups depending on the level of care they need. Horizon also hosts an evening support group for families of addiction. The group meets the first and third Wednesday of at First Christian Church here in Lynchburg. And if you know anyone that is addicted to opioids, give Horizon a call. And that information is also on our website at wset.com. Live here in Lynchburg, Courtney Joden, ABC 13 News.
Today, the moderator for this town hall, Eric Bowling, was on campus. He was talking to students ahead of this event, and for him, this is personal, and he hopes this event is one that helps to save lives.
It happened 14 months ago. It feels like it happened yesterday. Every day is hell.
Just last year, Eric Bowling lost his son to an accidental opioid overdose at just 19 years old.
He was an active kid. I knew he drank. I probably even knew he smoked pot, but he always told me, Dad, I got this. Dad, I got this, until he didn't.
For him, tomorrow's discussion with First Lady Melania Trump about the opioid epidemic is a needed one.
I think is probably the country's greatest health crisis in the history of the United States.
He hopes students learn from it.
The opioid epidemic is sweeping the country, and it doesn't care what your demographic is. So it goes beyond party lines.
Bowling was on campus earlier talking to students.
You hear about the First Lady coming to campus?
I did hear.
Today, he kept his questions fun and got students excited about her visit.
Would you ask her personally about herself?
How do you deal with all the stress? How her cultural experience affects being in such an important position in the White House.
What is it like being married to Donald Trump?
Bowling tells me that this is the first time First Lady Melania Trump has done a town hall like this and answered questions. Reporting live at Liberty University, Kelsey Metzger, ABC 13 News.
The opioid epidemic continues to ravage communities in our area and beyond. First responders are taking extra precautions because some drugs can be deadly even if you're just near them. ABC 13's Chris Hoffman joins us from the newsroom with how they're protecting themselves. Chris?
Bedford Police Chief Todd Foreman says fentanyl started coming into his area around 2 years ago. Now, it's a problem because the synthetic opioid can be 80 to 100 times stronger than morphine. And according to Chief Foreman, this drug can be deadly just a touch. So they're not taking chances. Officers will use gloves or sometimes even suits to make sure they don't come in contact with the substance. What makes it even tougher for officers is the many ways it can be used. It can be a powder or used to lace other drugs. Now, according to Chief, people who use a drug do it so they can reach a new high.
They want to get as high as they can get, so they're always striving for the next high a little bit higher than they were the last time until they push it too far and overdose.
As for other drugs, Chief says Bedford County had about 8 to 9 reported overdoses just last month. Chief Foreman says they are working to get Narcan in the hands of every officer to help anyone who may be found overdosed in the area. Live in the Lynchburg newsroom, Chris Hoffman, ABC 13 News.
Now it's time to get personal. How can you tell if someone you care about is addicted to opioids?
ABC 13's Courtney Joden spoke with health officials at Horizon about what you need to look out for. She joins us live outside one of those offices in Langern Road in Lynchburg. Courtney.
Mark, nurses here at Horizon say there are several signs you should look out for in your family members and friends surrounding the opioid addiction. Now, Nurse Jen Phelps says increased prescription drug use, glazed over eyes, slurred behavior, running through prescriptions fast, withdrawing from normal activities, and pale looking and tired are all signs pointing to opioid addiction. Phelps says this is a common problem and can happen to anyone.
The majority of people that come into my program started from a medical problem or from a past trauma or untreated mental health problem. They don't realize that it is people's sons, it's all socioeconomic problems.
Phelps says the more that we talk about the opioid epidemic and educate people about it, the more people will be open to getting treatment and the help that they need. Now, if you do know anyone that does need help in this opioid epidemic, you can contact Horizon. They have an emergency hotline, and their number is 434-522-8191. Again, it's 434-522-8191. Live here in Lynchburg tonight, Courtney Joden, ABC 13 News.
In less than 12 hours, First Lady Melania Trump will be in Lynchburg for a town hall on opioids. It is a national crisis. And now the conversation will be front and center at Liberty University.
We have team coverage tonight leading up to that event with ABC 13's Valencia Jones and Hannah McCumsey. Every single corner of America is dealing with some form of opioid abuse. It's an epidemic with far-reaching effects.
ABC 13's Valencia Jones shares how local jails are handling the opioid crisis and saving lives in the process. Valencia?
Some inmates are confined by their opioid addictions before they're even arrested. And now more than ever, staff members are having to use a life-saving technique for those at risk of overdosing. Staff members at Blue Ridge Regional Jail Authority say the opioid crisis has ushered in an increasing amount of inmates with addictions, some on the brink of overdosing.
Put this in the nose and we push on this here at the bottom.
It's why they're trained to administer Narcan.
Within seconds, 30 seconds to a minute, they usually start coming around.
In the years since the jail first got it, this nasal spray and some injections have made the difference between life and death.
There has been an instance where it has been used here, so it did work and save someone's life.
Nurse Carolyn Danos said this lifesaver was unheard of when she started working in medicine 35 years ago. Administrator Tim Trent says it's a good thing they have it, given the current trend.
We are seeing a substantial increase in opioid use in the individuals that are coming in.
Trent says there's a big domino effect with addiction. He says it's to blame for countless robberies, shootings, senseless deaths, and jail overcrowding. Both say their bigger focus is helping people overcome their addiction and keeping them out of the criminal justice system.
It's rewarding not only to us because we don't have to worry about any type of security issues, safety issues. It's also rewarding to the localities that has to pay to have that individual housed in our jails.
We're told that all of the jail medical and security staff are properly trained to detect the symptoms of opioid abuse, and we're told they work closely with the systems here and the programs to make drug treatment referrals on a case-by-case basis as needed. Live in Lynchburg, Valencia Jones, ABC 13 News.
Team coverage continues right now with how the city of Lynchburg is working to combat the opioid crisis one person at a time. ABC 13's Hannah McCumsey shows us what drug court is all about and why it can have a positive effect.
The Lynchburg Drug Court began with a goal of helping people struggling with drug and alcohol addiction. The program gives participants access to resources to help them reach sobriety. Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney Bethany Harrison says it also holds people accountable for their own recovery.
We're hoping to break that cycle of addiction where someone is testing positive, they get a probation violation, get a little bit of time in jail and get back out, only to start it all over again.
There are currently 8 people who must appear before a judge twice a month for check-ins. Since this drug court began in March of 2017, 31 people have been screened for participation. Of those, 20 were accepted and 11 were denied. 11 people have been removed from drug court for various reasons, and 1 voluntarily withdrew.
People are going to have problems, they're going to relapse, and working with them through that towards better habits for life to help them achieve sobriety.
Harrison says there's been an increase in the number of cases involving possession and use of heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl. She hopes this drug court will help reduce that. Although the number of program participants is low, she says each person in the program is taking that important step in their journey towards recovery. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you. Hannah McCumsey reporting.
Good morning, Melissa. The CDC says the opioid epidemic is taking 115 American lives every single day, and a doctor here in Lynchburg says that is higher than the number of people who will die in a car crash each day. Now, according to Centra's Director of Addiction and Recovery Services, Dr. Brent McCraw, it started with health professionals looking to manage pain better. That led to more prescriptions, and then heroin became more of a problem because people found ways to take it outside of needle injection. Dr. McCraw says opioids are so addictive because they make people feel good, which draws them back for more. His message is don't be afraid to get help if you want out of the addiction cycle.
To continue to live like this, treatment is available, and treatment really is successful, and people recover and sort of regain their lives back.
As a result of this epidemic, doctors are prescribing smaller amounts at a time to prevent pills from just sitting around. And unless it's necessary, they're trying alternatives for pain management. Health professionals are also monitoring these prescriptions to make sure people can't go from doctor to doctor to get them. For now, let's send it back to you.
Well, the opioid epidemic continues to ravage communities in our area and beyond, but there are other similar types of drugs that are making their way into our area. Bedford police say fentanyl started coming into the area around 2 years ago. It was a real problem because this synthetic opioid is 80 to 100 times stronger than morphine, and it can be deadly just to touch. Chief Todd Foreman says he doesn't want to take any chances, so his officers will use gloves or sometimes even special suits to make sure that they don't come into contact with that drug. And according to the chief, people use that drug to reach a new high.
Looking live at our plane right there. The town hall is being put on by our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group. It begins this morning at 10:30, so in about a half hour at LU.
That's right. Now, political commentator and author Eric Bolling is going to be moderating this. Just last year, Bolling's son died from an accidental overdose, so this is a very personal issue for him. While Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen and Secretary of Health and Human Services Alex Azar II are also both on the panel. Liberty President Jerry Falwell and his wife Becky will join the discussion as well to speak about Liberty University's proactive measures to fight the opioid crisis. And as we said, you are looking at Mrs. Trump's plane. It landed just moments ago. This is at the Lynchburg Regional Airport. It is coming here, and she will go from the airport directly to Liberty University.